but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His own way of planning. So the title was, He Will Never Let Me Down. Before I start saying anything, how many of you in this class, and also for the people with us online, you can say this with confidence? The statement I used for the title, I have never had any time in my life where Allah let me down. Who can show me hands? At all. Never. Wow, now the hands became much less. Right? What made you say this, and what does that mean? Actually, this statement is who said it, you all probably know. Sayyidah Hajar. When Sayyidina Ibrahim, he brought them to Mecca. There was nothing. There was no Kaaba. There was nothing. It's just desert, right? No hotels, no Zamzam, nothing. And then he turned, left her and turned. Couldn't even look at her. This is his son and his wife. And then she kept saying, where are you going? Where are you leaving us? He couldn't answer. He couldn't turn back. It's very hard, you know? It's very hard to say no to say goodbye to people, let alone. And finally, she said, Allahu amaraka bihada. Did Allah order you to do this? That's what you all need to learn. Did Allah order you to do that? That's when he turned and he said, yes. And she said, go. He will never let us down. Go. Go where? Imagine this. You really have to live this to know what this means. And then the rest is, you all know it. That's why we do sa'i. That's why we walk between Safa and Marwa and Zamzam up till this day. Did Allah let her down? But she had the certainty. That's called Tawakkul ala Allah. When you literally give all your affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all, there is no conditions with Allah. We all have to know this. We're coming out of Ramadan. We felt it. There's no if I can. Let me try. You know how we say sometimes, let me try. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's see if people, what they are saying is true. It will never work this way. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, do you trust me or you don't? So let me take you through. It's a long topic, but I'm gonna give you some examples. The example is gonna blow your mind. And it's good because the examples A+ is really high. And the more you think of it, you're gonna get closer bi'idhnillah. So basically, what is tawakkul? Translated as relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I like trusting Allah. Because relying, sometimes we don't really feel it. But when I trust someone, right? And you look at her and you say, you know what? I'm going to give you this. This is the dearest thing to me. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's so close. It's so it's so dear to me, and I am not worried. And she will say, why is that? It's because I know you will take care of it. And I'm sure every one of you in her life have done this to someone. That's tawakkul. However, this is 24/7 in every step of your life. From the morning to the evening, you never rely on you or me or my ability or my thinking or my planning. The my or I does not come with tawakkul. So trust fully in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm going to share with you some of the definitions of it. There's empty space here. Sister, Assalamu alaikum. There's one right there waiting for you in the front. No, you always behave, mashallah. طيب. So it says, if you want to write down, it's really nice. To give oneself over, or to rely and depend, or to have confidence in someone else. To have confidence. Now, why did I start with the story of Sayyidah Hajar? What did she have? But say it not tawakkul, because we use this word so softly and we use it casual. And a lot of people doesn't really know what depth of it. But when I remember her, and especially if I was, when I'm in Mecca, and I just close my eyes and think of this place, there's nothing in it. And I am alone, a woman with a baby breastfeeding. And my husband left me. And I turned to him and says, Allah ordered you, He will never let me down. That's tawakkul. When you have nothing to give you the confidence or the peace that it will happen. You know, when we say 1 + 1 = 2, because there is 1 and there is 1 together becomes 2, that's not tawakkul. When there is nothing, no 1, no plus, no another number 1, and you say it will be 2, because it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of the definition. And since a good number of you are Arab, so I'm going to read it this, because when you read it in Arabic, you will feel it even more. صدق اعتماد القلب على الله عز وجل في استجلاب المنافع ودفع المضار من أمور الدنيا والآخرة، والاعتقاد بأنه لا يعطي ولا يمنع ولا يضر ولا ينفع سواه. Memorize this. Truthfully, you rely, not you, truthfully, the heart rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? That only Him, capital H, Allah, will bring benefits to me. And only Him and only Hadi is extremely important for tawakkul. Once you say Allah and, you don't have the tawakkul. You're trying. But this is only. He's the only one. My heart is saying before my mouth, before I hear it. My heart has no doubt. He's the only one who's going to remind me of an example in case true one, if I forget. Is the only one who's going to bring benefit, the only one who's going to ward off, remove harm from everything in this life and the hereafter. And this is the real definition. No one gives. No one holds. No one benefit. No one harm except Him. So you are in an interview and you have done your homework. You dress this way, you speak this way, you do, right? If you are sitting in front of whoever is interviewing you and you're looking at their faces and then you are seeing that they like you, they didn't like you, your tawakkul needs improvement. When you are in that interview, you're going to say to yourself before you open your mouth, looking at that person, you're not going to say it, but your heart will say, you're not giving me the job. Allah, if He wants, He'll give me the job through you. So when you leave and you did excellent, you did it by the book, and guess what? They didn't take you. You're not going to say, and I hear this all the time, oh, because I'm a woman. Oh, because I'm a hijabi. Oh, because I have an accent. And you give all these excuses. Tawakkul is not there. You should have said, He didn't want it to happen. Done. And what this brings to your life? P-E-A-C-E. Peace. You're not going to see people. This is the real tawakkul. You don't see people operating. You see Allah operates. It's very difficult. You know why? Because we don't know who's He. We don't invest our time, all of us, myself number one, may Allah forgive me, in knowing who is He. You know, I did it. I planned it. It worked. Tawakkul, we left it home. So that's one. And then this is going to make it much easier. They say, Al-Mutawakkil, the person who really relies on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is exactly acting like a dead person in the hand of the person who's washing his or her body. They turn them whichever side they turn. Have you washed a body? Anybody here washed a body? Does the dead person do anything? When I open the mouth, you have to do that. When I clean, you have to do that. Turn them on the right, you have to turn. They turn. Turn them on the left, you turn. I highly recommend you all do it. It has to be. will change your life. You'll never cry for anything except you missed your salah or you're not obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You keep saying, one day I'm going to be here. So that dead person have no control, she or he, on the way they move, operate. هذا المتوكل مع الله. This is the state of the person who trusts Allah. That's why I told you I love the word trust. It brings me the feeling I want to feel more than rely. When I trust Allah, I trust the person who's washing my body. He'll do or she will do the right thing. So if she turns me to the right, that's how it should be. That's how you are, or you should be, subhanallah. And it is a sign of your real faith. That's why we all think we are believers. Please forgive me, we're out of Ramadan, so I have to give you a little bit a harder class today. Right? To keep the momentum. It's not the time. After Ramadan, it's not time to say, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. You're going to say, that's it? That's what I did? I'll share with you a story without mentioning the name of the Sheikh just because we are public. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught me something this Ramadan. A friend of mine says, go and pray in this masjid. This is the night of Ramadan. And she said, this Imam starts Qiyam from the night of Ramadan. Not Qiyam, Tahajjud. From the first day of Ramadan. And she said, you know what? He reads a little bit long. Didn't say anything else. So I went. I entered 12:20, and he was already started. And he was in the 3rd page of Surah Al-Baqarah. And I was praying. We finished the first juz. He's still praying. And we finished the 2nd juz. He's still praying. First rak'ah. He finished with the Baqarah. Allahu Akbar. We go for ruku', almost the same length. How do you know? When he said, Sami Allahu liman hamida, you hear in the masjid, you hear it. I was there. It's not someone told me. I did it with him. Then he went for ruku', for sujood. So he gets up and I was like, okay, let's see what he's going to do in the 2nd rak'ah. Ali Imran. When did he finish? يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا. Finished Ali Imran. Finished, I looked at the watch. We start 12:20. He finished at 2. 2 rak'at only. And the man is not a young man. Again, I'm not going to say the name because we are live streamed. He's not. He's probably in his 60s. 2nd day, he did Al-An'am, all of it, in 1 rak'ah. So let's move, right? The himam, the resolve needs to move. You know, like when you are in your career, I always say this to myself. When you are in your career, do you stay in your career the same way? You're always a teller, so all your life a teller? No, right? I'm a physician. We all stayed all my life as a resident? No. Resident, then you become 1st year, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then you graduate, then you become a junior associate and then you. So why in Deen we don't? Tawakkul, you put it as a goal and you say, by Allah, by His help, I'm going to be there. Because the people who did it, the Sheikh who prayed, it was not, Allah didn't give him more than what He gave us, other than attachment to Allah and to the book of Allah. I finished with him at 3 a.m. the night of Friday. And I looked at my friend and I said, is he coming back for Fajr? He said, of course. Jumu'ah. So I came back for Fajr. He read Fajr as if he was sleeping all night. As-Sajda and Al-Insan finished. He gave us a talk after Fajr. I was like, Rabbi, you're showing me this to teach me, to tell me there's people way ahead of you in that caravan. Way ahead of you. And we all think, mashallah, we are. So tawakkul, this is what I need. It's a higher level. But if people can do it, I can start the road. And you will get there, bi'idhnillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used it in the Quran more than 38 places. In almost every aspect of our deen. In da'wah, you're calling people, you're talking to your children, you're talking to your friend, you're talking to your spouse. Tawakkul is there, and here it says, فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُلْ حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ. This is at the end of Surah At-Tawbah. عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْتُ وَهُوَ رَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْعَظِيمِ. That's the last verse of Surah At-Tawbah. If they did not respond to me, when you go to talk to somebody about the deen, whatever you want, out of love, out of caring, right? Don't go and says, they better listen to me. Then you don't have tawakkul, because you don't change people. Allah changed them. You're going to say, Ya Rabbi, I relied on you. I trust in you. You're going to make me say what you want me to say. And I'm going to go. And then you say to Allah, alayka tawakkalt. If they listened, alhamdulillah. If they didn't listen, alayka tawakkalt. Now, that's the most important thing in these days. By Allah, but don't answer me because I was talking about tawakkul. When you get your paycheck at the end of the month, when they deposit in your bank account, when your parents gives you allowance, what do you say to yourself when you see the money? I'm glad you're all silent. Because we don't say, Alhamdulillah alladhi razaqani. What do we say? Worked so hard this month. Or you look at your parents and says, that's it. And they have more money. They only gave me $50. Right? You all are laughing because it's reality. What I'm saying, what is my hal? My state is saying, you gave me the money. My work brought me the salary. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And then, وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Whomsoever have Allah conscious, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will find a way out for everything you need. Number 2, وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And in the next verse, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ, the next, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whomsoever rely on Allah, trust in Allah, is enough. And Allah responded, or actually this verse is a response to the question Allah put in Surah Al-Zumar. You just came out of Ramadan, so hopefully you know the sequence. Surah Al-Zumar, the groups, is before Surah Al-Talaq. Allah put this question with no answer. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدَهُ. Isn't Allah enough for you? There's no answer. Why? Because the answer is yes. Like when you say, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. You know, in Surah Al-Rahman, this repeated rhetorical question, which of the favors of your Lord you deny? What is the answer? Because the answer is clear. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدَهُ. Isn't Allah enough for you? And the answer is yes. Should be. So when people look at you and says, don't put your hijab, they will not give you the job. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدَهُ. Isn't Allah enough for me? When you leave something, especially when you leave something you love, whether it's a human being, whether it is material, just